There are habits that are quietly destroying an entire generation of men. Not drugs, not alcohol. Worse, habits that look harmless but are eating away at your motivation, your discipline, and your future. And most men don't even realize it's happening until they've wasted years. Today, we're calling them out.
What is the best and worst thing about being Jordan Peterson?
The worst? I'm a bit much,
And the best?
you might say. So,
What's the best thing?
I'm sort of running in all directions very rapidly, and so that can be a bit much. It's hard on people around me. I'm a bit much, man.
And what's the best thing about you?
The best thing about being me?
Yeah.
It's overwhelming, really. Well, the deep appreciation that people have for what I've been doing. It's stunning. It's soul destroying, but it's amazing.
Is it not soul enhancing? I mean, I feel it when I do interviews with you, the reaction I get from people, just how much you mean to them. I mean, I can imagine it's soul.
Yeah, well, that's a bit much.
Jordan Peterson gets emotional because he knows the truth. Young men are drowning and nobody is throwing them a lifeline. They're being sedated by screens while the world tells them to just figure it out. That emotion is real because the crisis is real.
Do you ever find yourself endlessly scrolling or refreshing your inbox, almost as if you can't stop? It could actually be a sign of dopamine dependence. When our brains get used to quick dopamine hits from things like social media notifications or instant messages, it starts craving those short-term rewards. And over time, it rewires us, creating a kind of deficit that makes it harder to feel motivated without those instant gratifications. And research shows that this dependency can dampen our natural drive, making it tougher to stay focused on meaningful work. So try a dopamine break. Try just one day or even half a day where you don't check social media. Resist the urge and delay those dopamine rewards.
Your brain is hijacked by dopamine and you don't even know it. Every scroll, every notification, every short video is rewiring your brain to crave instant gratification. And the more you feed it, the harder it becomes to do anything that requires real effort.
Dopamine detox is really just a hard reset. Okay, so that shouldn't be something that you're doing for, months and months and months. It's a shock to the system, but it's for a short period of time. And it comprises of a few pillars. Now, for people who want to try dopamine detox, these are the 4 pillars you should implement. The first pillar is limiting your phone screen time. Second pillar is no YouTube. Number 3, no adult films, we'll say. And the 4th pillar is 10 minutes a day of meditation.
2 million views because men are desperate for a solution. Dopamine detox isn't a trend, it's survival. When your brain can't feel pleasure from real achievements anymore, you've been overstimulated into numbness. And that's where most young men are right now.
24-hour dopamine detox, how to trick your brain into doing hard things. This routine changed my focus and productivity. Step 1, get a piece of paper. Step 2, list out quick dopamine release activities like social media, music, and junk food. Instead, focus on walking, journaling, and meditating. Now, if you know Andrew Kirby, he made a bunch of videos on dopamine detox. He also made a Reddit community, which leads to the 3rd step, get an accountability partner. Challenge your friend or find someone in this group.
Trick your brain to love doing hard things. That's not just motivation. That's the playbook for escaping mediocrity. The man who can delay gratification will always outperform the man who chases the easy hit. Always.
The reason you're distracted, unable to focus, and procrastinating has to do with dopamine, a neurotransmitter that's responsible for learning, motivation, attention, and mood. And the problem is that we get too much of it from unhealthy sources like social media, video games, and constantly checking our phones, which over time makes us slower, weaker, and less happy. The solution is a dopamine detox, where you unplug and avoid activities that overstimulate your brain so it can re-regulate your dopamine levels. The big payoff is that you actually start to enjoy things that you previously found hard or boring. There are 2 parts to doing this right. Part 1 is sacrifice, which involves reducing or ideally eliminating things that cause your dopamine levels to spike. Things like sugar, social media, and video games. Part 2 is effort, where you can enhance your natural dopamine production. And you can do this by exercising, taking cold showers, getting enough sleep, and even meditating. Now you know why.
Notice the pattern. Every successful person is saying the same thing. Cut the noise. Do the hard work. Stop numbing yourself with entertainment. The habits that feel comfortable are the ones destroying you. So we've talked about the dopamine trap, but there's another layer. It's not just about what you consume, it's about what you're avoiding. Let's talk about the habit of avoidance and why it's the silent killer of potential.
Here's everything I do to rewire my brain to no longer be lazy and be at the point I am in my life. Satisfied that I'm actually on the path of achieving everything I've ever dreamed of. None of it includes forcing myself to just be disciplined. First things first is podcasts and audiobooks. I don't always have time to sit down and crack open a book and read all day because I am a single mom, but I am always listening to something that's rewiring my brain. Motivation stuff, psychology, mindset is on repeat every chance I get. It's either on repeat in the background or it's on while I'm cooking, while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm doing mindless activities. It's the repetition that literally reshapes your brain, you guys. Second thing I do is I interrupt my autopilot. And what this looks like is brushing my teeth with the opposite hand or eating a meal without checking my phone or without watching TV. Because your brain thrives on patterns and your brain thinks it's smarter than you all the time. It's running on a set of predictions based on previous experiences. So when you interrupt this pattern, you send a signal to your brain that you are in charge and that you have the option.
Your brain isn't broken. It's been trained wrong. And the good news is you can retrain it. But it starts with being honest about what you've been avoiding. The gym, the hard conversation, the career move. Laziness isn't a personality trait. It's a symptom.
I had a girl come up to me last night at the end of my talk, and this happens all the time. She said, I started cleaning up my room last year and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the room is you. Now, that isn't how people think, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if they think that way. That's how it is. So straighten up what you can straighten up and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next. What would the world be like if people stopped avoiding the things they knew they should do? You know, because the question is, how much are we contributing to the fact that life is an existential catastrophe and a tragedy? How much is our own corruption contributing to that? That's a really worthwhile question. Things you leave undone because you're angry, you're resentful, you're lazy, you have inertia. Well, you consult your conscience and it says, well, you know, that place over there could use a little work. It's the same as working on yourself. And so you clean that up because you can. And then things are a little clearer around you. And you're a little better off because you've practiced a bit. And so you're a little stronger. And then something else manifests itself and says, well, maybe you could like take a crack at fixing me up too. So you decide to do that. And then that gets a little bit more pristine. You know, and soon, and it's humble because you're not exceeding your domain of competence. You know, it's like, don't be fixing up the economy, 18-year-olds. You don't know anything about the economy. It's a massive, complex machine beyond anyone's understanding, and you mess with it at your peril. So, and can you even clean up your own room? No. Well, you should think about that. You should think about that. Because if you can't even clean up your own room, who the hell are you to give advice to the world?
Clean your room. It sounds simple because it is. But the man who can't organize his own space cannot organize his life. Start with the small things. Make your bed. Clean your desk. Show yourself you can follow through. That's where discipline begins.
Andrew Tate's over there at the moment, I've seen, and he's obviously got a very, very cool Bugatti in this kind of brown colour, which I actually really, really like.
Incredible.
Your two cars next to each other, I think that'd be pretty special.
Do I say more now or do I say less right now?
You've got it in there, haven't you?
You know, Andrew Tate, I met about 7-8 months ago. I actually have learned a lot from Andrew Tate, mostly about the gym. Honestly, I think if one person's quote really stuck in my head was, the person that goes to the gym every day will beat the person that goes to the gym every other day. And that quote has stayed with me since then. And it was just after he said that, just after I'd met him. I really didn't know who he was until he bought this Bugatti. And then I saw like a Bugatti Chiron promoting his business. And I was like, this guy's got the same sort of business plan as me.
And then there's the comparison trap. watching someone else's highlight reel while you're stuck in your struggle. Social media sells you a lifestyle that doesn't exist. The Bugatti, the mansion, the models. None of it is real, and chasing someone else's dream is the fastest way to lose your own.
I had a girl come up to me last night at the end of my talk, and this happens all the time. She said, I started cleaning up my room last year and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the room is you. Now, that isn't how people think, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if they think that way. That's how it is. So straighten up what you can straighten up and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next.
Start today. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Today. The habits destroying you didn't form overnight, and they won't break overnight. But every small win builds momentum. And momentum is what separates the men who make it from the ones who don't. Let me be direct. If you're spending more time consuming than creating, you're losing. If your phone is the first thing you reach for in the morning and the last thing you touch at night, you're losing. The habits that feel good in the moment are stealing your future. Cut them, replace them, and start building the life you actually want. Subscribe if you're ready to wake up.